Rajeshwari MJ. She pursued her BE in Electrical and Electronics at the People's Education Society College of Engineering, Mandya. She pursued her MTech in VLSI Design and Embedded Systems at the Sri Jagadguru Balagangadharanta Institute of Technology, Bangalore. Her personal skills lie in good verbal and written communication skills. Her areas of interest lie in OOPS with C++, renewable energy sources, HVDC transmission, digital relays, automotive electronics, advances in VLSI design. She has also had papers presented at the national level, such as the Innovative Architecture for SoC Multi-Core Hybrid Processor, presented at the RNSIT, Bangalore.
Welcome to UGC lecture series of BSc Physics Honours. Today we are dealing with the subject electromagnetic theory. In this session we are going to concentrate on waveguides. Today we are going to discuss about some of the topics that is related to waveguides. Today we are going to start with the wave equations for planar waveguides. So we need to remember here about the previous session that what we discussed about the wave equations for electric and magnetic fields that has to be carried forward for the wave derivation of wave equations for planar waveguides, and also the symmetric slab waveguide solutions. At last we are going to find out the eigenvalue equations for symmetric slab waveguides. So let us start with the very first thing, that is the wave equations for planar waveguides. So here we consider the homogeneous wave equation that will be exist for a planar waveguides for any index profile that we consider, that is of n of x. This is how it looks for a planar waveguides, where the core is sandwiched in between a cladding, that is N3, and N2 is a refractive index for the cladding, and N1 will be the refractive index for a core. So this is how the propagations of a field will be inside the core. So for a planar wave, we know that the directions of propagation are it will be in only one direction. So for a planar waveguide, the modes are either will be transverse electric or transverse magnetic. So further we consider that partial differentiation of with respect to n y, here it is a 0 here. There will be no movement, or we are not considering it in the y directions, because the index profile is independent of the y coordinate. That is why the partial differentiation with respect to y is completely 0 in a planar waveguide. So the wave equations after that, by getting when partial differentiation of y is not equal to 0, and where we are going to say the index profile is not dependent on y, we can get a simplified substantial equation that what we derived previously for a general waveguide field and electric and magnetic field equations. So for this we have that Ez for a waveguide which has to be having a transverse electric mode of a planar waveguide, which will be satisfied that Ez is equal to 0 for that condition. For a transverse electric mode of a planar waveguide, Ez has to be 0. So such that from relations of the transverse component to the longitudinal components, we see that Ex is equal to Hy is equal to 0 here. So because we know that it is not dependent on the index profile, is not at all dependent on y coordinate. So we have taking that dou Hz divided by dou y is equal to 0. So this is what all the terms that is related to the previously discussed previously derived electric and magnetic field. So this term also becomes 0, and also the only non-vanishing field components are Hx and Ey and Hz. So these are the three non-vanishing components that we consider. So in a planar mode, because there is only one non-vanishing electric field components, here we can observe that in a non-vanishing components 3 will be there, 1 will be electric field component and 2 will be the magnetic field components. We can observe that non-vanishing electric field component will be Ey here. The wave equations for Ey is naturally again decoupled from the other field components. Therefore we can have the wave equation like this, which will be equal to a double partial differentiation of Ey with respect to x plus k square minus beta square into Ey is equal to 0. So where we know the k square will be always equal to omega square mu naught epsilon of x. So this can be again rewritten as omega square divided by c square into n square of x. So, now we have another non-vanishing factors, that is Hx and Hy, which is a magnetic field components. So, this can be again obtained, always it is obtained from the electric field which is having a non-vanishing component, that is Ey. Using the field equations we will get Hx and Hz here. Hx will be equal to minus beta divided by omega mu naught E into Ey. Which is all we can observe here, it is in terms of Ey. With the when we know the Ey, it is very easy for to find the Hx and Hz. Hz here is, it is equal to 1 by I omega mu naught, that into partial differentiation of Ey with respect to x. So, now we consider the wave equation for planar waveguides for transverse magnetic modes. So, for this also it has to satisfy certain conditions for a transverse magnetic mode of a planar waveguide, which will be having Hz should be 0 here. So, Hz will be equal to 0, which says that Hx is equal to Ey is equal to 0. And therefore, we can have the partial differentiation of Ez with respect to y here, it is 0. So, therefore, we get the sum of the non-vanishing field components. The non-vanishing field components here for the transverse mode will be Ex, Hy and Ez. So, here also we are getting 2 electric field component and 1 magnetic field component. So, from the wave equations of for Hy we already have the wave equations for Hy, so that will be equal double partial differentiation of Hy with respect to x plus k square minus beta square of Hy, that is equal to 1 divided by epsilon d differentiation of epsilon with respect to x partial differentiation of Hy with respect to x. So, this is a Hy wave equation, which is the only non-vanishing magnetic field that we can found, and where k is the same value that previously discussed, k square is equal to k square of x, which is equal to omega square divided by c square into n square of x. So, with the help of Hy we can able to get another 2 non-vanishing field, that is Ex and Ez. So, this can be obtained by Hy, from which Ex is equal to beta divided by omega epsilon into Hy, and also Ez is equal to minus of 1 divided by I into omega epsilon and into partial differentiation of Hy with respect to x. So, next we move on to the guided modes in symmetric slab waveguides. So, different guided waveguides we are studying. So, the guided modes in symmetric slab is one of the things that we need to consider. So, what will be the solutions for the waveguides in a symmetric slab? So, the solution to the wave equations for 3 regions have the having here is assuming that here the mode is of a polarizing mode is transverse electric field. So, which will be we are deriving only with respect to transverse electric field or transverse electric mode. So, the electric field equations for this symmetric slab waveguides, that is E is equal to y cap E y into x exponential I beta z minus omega t. So, that is what we are considered, which is having only the y component here, electric field will be y components, and we are considering only transverse electric field, and substituting into wave equation assuming there is no y dependence, there is no y, if it consider it is not depending on y, or what will be the wave equations. So, it is having a double partial differentiation of Ey with respect to x plus k I square minus beta square into Ey, that is equal to 0. So, again we can have the second order differentiation with it with keeping a constant coefficient, that is Ey will be always proportional to exponential plus or minus Ix square root of k I square minus beta square. So, next we move on to the symmetric slab waveguide solutions. The solutions are sinusoidal or exponential according to the conditions that we have for sinusoidal and also exponential. If it is for sinusoidal, k I square will be always greater than beta square. But if it is for exponential form, k I square will be lesser than beta square. So, guided modes which is having a cladded region has exponential solutions will be beta will be always greater than k2 greater than k3. So, beta will be always greater than, so that will satisfy the exponential waveguide solution. So, while core regions will have a sinusoidal solutions, in the sense then we can have the beta will be less than k1. So, these are the two conditions for exponential solution and also the sinusoidal condition. So, for x which is tends to plus or minus infinity, if we say we require the solution to remain finite, we want for solution will be only met with the finite conditions. So, for x is equal to plus or minus infinite, it is not possible, but we want a solution for a finite. So, the solutions have generally a form assuming that is n2 is equal to n3. So, where we can have cladding will be always the cladding will be always, then we know that condition will be x will be greater than or equal to 0. Core will be always lying minus d lesser than or equal to x lesser than or equal to 0 is what the region of core or range. So, cladding will be again the lower cladding will be x, it will be lesser than or equal to minus d. So, for this we are having a general E y, that is electric field in a transverse mode, that is E y is equal to a exponential minus kappa x for cladding which is x having a at a region x greater than or equal to 0. So, E y is present in a cladding where in the region x is greater than or equal to 0. So, for E y which is lies in this region where in a core that is from minus d lesser than or equal to x lesser than or equal to 0, that E y is equal to b cos of h x plus c sin of h x. So, a, b, c are all the constants that we are considered here. And also the cladding in the lower region which will be x lesser than minus d, the E y will be equal to d exponential of kappa into x plus d. So, we are considered here for a transverse propagation constants how it will going to differ in a symmetric slab waveguide. So, we have a transverse propagations constants which is having a in a two regions, that is in a cladding and also in core where we have found a vector here which is having a I, k, I, kappa and h here for a k1 and beta which is meeting at an angle theta. So, a weird which is aligned which is referencing x is equal to 0, this is the lower, after this which reaches to the lower cladding region, above which it reaches to the upper cladding region. So, the transverse propagation constants that is kappa is equal to beta square minus k2 square, that is whole square root of this will be what the kappa, that is a real attenuation constant, and also the h which is equal to k1 square root of k1 square minus beta 2, that is always equal to another thing, that is k1 cos theta. This can also be, we will get with the help of vector diagram that we draw here, that is equal to k1 cos theta. So, in order to determine the allowed beta, that is a transverse propagation constant, and the unspecified a, b, c, d are the constant that what we previously known, the unspecified constant will be there in the equations. We need to match the solution in cladding with the solution in the core. So, the core solution that what we get has to be matched with the cladding solution to get the unspecified constant like a, b, c, d. So, therefore, we have to apply the boundary condition must be satisfied for both core cladding interfaces. So, at least what we have need to take at least one arbitrary constant in the field solution given by the overall field strength. So, we expect at least one arbitrary constant in the final solution given by the overall field strength. So, there will be a field coupling inside the, so at least one component will going to be helpful for getting a field strength. So, yeah, we are discussing now the boundary conditions that is has to be met with the interface between the core and cladding. So, the boundary condition that we are considering very firstly is E y continuous at x is equal to 0, which tends to a is equal to 0. So, with the help of meeting some of the boundary conditions, we are able to know the unspecified constant like a, b, c, d what we previously have in the equations. So, this is a continuations of that. So, with the help of this boundary condition, we can able to get the unspecified constant like a, b, c, d. So, the conditions that has to be met for finding a is E y has to be continuous at x is equal to 0, and also the partial differentiation of E y with respect to x into h z continuous at x is equal to 0, which gives the value c that is equal to minus kappa divided by h into a. So, with the help of a is equal to b here, we can able to get the c value here. So next Ey continuous at x is equal to minus d. So where we can say this is the condition or interface with the lower cladding region, which will says that d is equal to a cos ht plus kappa a divided by h sin ht. So this will going to give the d value with the help of substituting a values here. So for next, with the partial differentiation of Ey with respect to x into hz continuous at x minus d. So we can observe these two conditions, just we are changing x is equal to minus d and x is equal to 0 for finding. Now this implies that tan of ht is equal to 2 kappa h divided by h square minus kappa square. So these are the different boundary conditions that we have taken for finding the unspecified constants. So in above discussion, that whatever the three that we discussed about from top to till here, three results can be used to solve the electric field distributions within the waveguides between the interface of core and cladding. But the fourth result that what we discussed is given as a transcendental equation, which will going to allow us to solve the beta, that is allowed to solve the beta graphically. We can able to solve the beta with this last result that what we got. So next we move on to transverse electric mode field distribution in a symmetric slab waveguide. So in the symmetric slab waveguide, how the transverse electric mode will be distributed. So first we consider again the different region we need to consider, and also by considering different region we have to find the electric field in a different region. So for x is greater than or equal to 0, we already know E is equal to a cap a y cap a exponential into minus kappa x exponential I beta z minus omega t is the equation for that, and all the remaining for the regions that what we previously discussed is again rewritten here. So in all these studies, all these equation what we have discussed is that all that important things that we discussed about the equations in the different interfaces of core and clad here, that all the electric field distribution propagate along the z direction. The propagation is always in the z directions because of the factor here exponential beta z minus omega z is what all we have discussed is here, which is going to represent the propagation is along the z direction, even though the cladding field decays exponential in the transverse direction. So in the region when the electric field met the cladding region, we know that it will going to decay in the transverse directions, even though then also we can say that it is always moving in the z direction. So next this allows us to solve for allowed beta and kappa and h. So these equations are helpful for getting a beta, kappa and h parameters. So next we move on to eigenvalue equations for symmetric slab waveguides. So how to find the eigenvalue equations for a symmetric slab waveguides? So we already know the transverse resonance conditions for a symmetric waveguide. In the previous session we discussed this is a transverse resonance conditions. It has to meet for a transverse resonance condition, that is T 2 k1 d cos theta plus 2 phi of theta, that is equal to 2 m pi. So we know that if an light ray it is reflected inside the core with an angle of theta, and k1 and which is having a width of d, the distance of the core or the diameter of the core will be d, and the reflection phase angle for the transverse electric polarization is now given by the reflection angle. We know this, that is tan phi of Te by 2 is equal to square root of n1 square sin square theta minus n2 square, that is divided by n1 cos theta. So with this reflection phase angle, which is reflection phase angle for transverse electric polarization. So now we have the transverse magnetic polarization, that is given by again tan of phi Tm by divided by 2, which is equal to n1 square divided by n2 square root of n1 square sin square theta minus n2 square. So divided by n1 cos theta. So from these two what we can observe in a transverse electric polarization and transverse magnetic polarization is in the transverse magnetic polarization the reflection phase angle have a one more term, that is n1 square divided by n2 square will be multiplied for the above which is a transverse electric polarization. So next we have to recall some of the electric coefficients that we already have. The reflection coefficient, that is RDE, we considered it is as exponential of minus I phi TE, and these are the reflection coefficient. Wherever that is, if we mention RTE, that is equal to, always equal to exponential of minus I phi t. So, this implies phi of theta, that is phase shift, phi of theta is equal to minus phi t e of theta. So, again the reflection coefficient of transverse magnetic field is equal to minus exponential minus I phi t m. So, this also again equal to phase shift of phi of theta, that is equal to minus phi t m of theta. So, now the resonance condition, that what we have, for that we are going to substitute above reflection coefficient. So, k1 d cos theta minus m pi is equal to minus phi theta, that is equal to phi t m, or we can say the electric or transverse magnetic field of theta. So, that what we consider here from the reflection coefficients. So, again we can have, by simplifying this for the terms, for a tan terms, for making this as a tan term, we are simplifying the above equations. So, the tan of k1, tan of k1 into d cos theta divided by 2 minus m pi m divided by 2, that is equal to tan of phi t comma or T m divided by 2 is what the eigenvalue equations for symmetric slab waveguides. So, the for finally we will get the separate equations, which is, we all know that, which is having a separate transverse electric mode and also transverse magnetic mode will be always separate in a resonance condition. So, that will be having a transverse electric field for an electric mode, and also the transverse magnetic mode will be tan of k1 d cos theta divided by 2 minus m pi 2 is equal to n1 square sin square theta minus, this is equal to square root of n1 square sin square theta minus n2 square, that is divided by n1 cos theta. So, similarly we know that from the previously discussed that from the, for the transverse electric mode to transverse magnetic field, there is only one term is multiplied in the right hand side, that is n1 square divided by n2 square is multiplied. So, where we can say that here that m, that what we here, it is a integral value, that is lies from 0, 1, 2 and so on. So, next we move on to normalized waveguide parameters. Normalized, what are the normalized waveguide parameters? Normally it has to be followed, that is the mode properties of a waveguide are commonly characterized in terms of dimensionless normalized waveguide parameters. There are some of the dimensionless parameters will be there, that depends on the waveguides. So, the normalized frequency, also known as a V number of a step index planar waveguide, which is a V number, we can say this is a normalized frequency, which is also called as a V number, which is for a step index planar waveguide, which is defined by V is equal to 2 pi lambda into d square root of n1 square minus n2 square, that is equal to omega divided by c d a square root of n1 square minus n2 square. So, here we have replacing the 2 pi by lambda with by omega divided by c, and also where d is the core thickness, that we know that d is the core thickness in the above equations for a V number, or a diameter in the case of optical fibers. Also, the propagation constant beta can also be represented by the normal guide index. For the normal frequency, we know that, which is represented by V number, and also normalized guide index, that is which having a propagation constant, will be represented with the help of normalized guide index. So, that will be B is equal to beta square minus k2 square divided by k1 square minus k2 square. So, this can also be, we can rewrite as a effective refractive index. In terms of effective refractive index, this will becomes n effective square minus n2 square divided by n1 square minus n2 square. So, why we have shifted all the beta and k terms with respect to n effective and n2? Because we know that n effective, that is refractive index, will be equal to c into beta divided by omega, and that will be equal to beta or lambda divided by 2 pi, which is the effective refractive index of the waveguide mode that has a propagation constant beta. So, the eigenvalue equations in terms of normalized frequency. Now, we have the eigenvalue equations without the normalized equation. So, now we have the normalized equations, which can be now applied for the eigenvalues for transverse, to find the eigenvalue equations for transverse electric mode and also transverse magnetic mode. So, for the transverse electric mode, which will be tan of h t divided by 2 minus m pi divided by 2 is equal to square root of v square, which is the v number where we can represent the normalized frequency here, minus square root of v square, which is a normalized frequency, which is represented by the normalized frequency, minus h square into d square divided by hd. For transverse magnetic field, that is tan of hd divided by 2 minus m pi 2, that is equal to n1 square divided by n2 square, square root of v2, which is again here now we are taking the normalized frequency for representing the eigenvalue equation in terms of a normalized frequency, that is square root of v2 minus h2 square h square into d square divided by hd, where m is a integral value here. So, from this and all what we find out from the eigenvalue equation is in the form always in the transcendental equations, and also which are usually used for solving solve for graphically plotting the left and right hand sides as a function of hd here, and also the solution yielded will be allowed us to find the value of HTs for a given value of the waveguide parameters like V for TE, TM modes. So, we can be easily find out, and which will be allowed for us to find the HT value in terms of V, and also for a different modes, that is transverse electric and transverse magnetic field. So, finally we come to the end of this session. In this session we started with the transverse electric mode for a planar waveguides, and we are going to find different wave equations for transverse electric waveguide and also transverse magnetic electric wave. There are different conditions it has to satisfy. For any transverse mode of a planar waveguide, Hz has to be equal to 0. Hz is equal to 0, then it will going to meet the conditions, that is Hx is equal to Ey is equal to 0. Because of the y Hx and Ey is equal to 0, because partial differentiation of Ez with respect to y is equal to 0. So, from this we can have only 3 non-vanishing parameters, that is Ex, Hy and Ez. So, from these two we can observe thus to a TE mode and of a planar waveguide and TM mode of a planar waveguide will be having different 3 non-vanishing parameters. In TE mode there will be a 2 magnetic non-vanishing parameter and 1 electric non-vanishing parameter, but here in a TM mode there will be 1 magnetic non-vanishing parameter and 2 electric non-vanishing parameter. So, from finding in any of the TR TM mode, from finding the Ey value we can able to find the other 2 values, that is Hx and Hz can be found out by finding Ey in the TE mode, whereas in a TM mode by finding the value of Hy we can able to find other 2 parameters, that is Ex and Ez. Some of the questions of this session are: derive the wave equations for planar waveguides, that is considering both TE and TM modes. What are the normalized waveguide parameters? Derive the eigenvalue equation in terms of normalized frequency. The references are www.livescience.com and the Mission Science. The textbook references are Fundamentals of Electromagnetics by M.A.W. Maya, and another textbook is Classical Electrodynamics by J.D. Jackson. This ends the session. Thank you.